Hey guys, so today I want to see if we can figure out how to make those full, fluffy, feathery brows when we don't have much of our own brows to work with, okay? So I've got some products and I did try this out the other day and it came out pretty decent. So we're going to see if we can recreate the brows that I had the other day, which were pretty fantastic if I do say so myself. Just saying. So I have a Morphe M158 and it's just like a little brow brush, and I have some glitter primer or glitter glue on the back of my hand. Since the brush part is a little bit thicker than what I'd like for making like those really defined like brow hairs, I'm gonna stick it in the glitter glue, both sides. Okay, and I'm gonna wipe off the excess. I saw this trick somewhere and we're gonna try it. So I'm just gonna let that dry for a little bit and then I'm gonna like smush it so that I have like a really fine point on this brush. Okay, so, and just like keep doing that until it's as thin as I want and there are no stray brush hairs like sticking out. Because I really want this to be super fine. See? Okay, so now I've got you zoomed in so you can see my brow in its full glory or lack thereof. And I'm going to start with a brow gel. I am going to just take some setting spray. This is just the e.l.f. Mist and Set, and I'm going to spray that on there, and then I'm going to take my spoolie, get the hair off my spoolie because it's gross, and I'm just going to load up that product on my brush, well, on the spoolie end of my brush. And once that is all loaded up, I'm going to brush that through my brow. So I've got the product all dispersed throughout my little brow hairs, okay? And you really want to brush it through because if this product builds up, oh my gosh, let me tell you, it looks so bad, okay? So now that it's all brushed through, I'm just going to use the flat part right here and press everything down so that my hairs are stuck to my head. That's what we want. Well, that's what I want. So for the next step, I'm going to go in with the classic Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow. And this one is in the shade Ash Brown. And I watched a video recently which kind of inspired this one. And they were talking about how exactly to use the Dipbrow. And it really did make all of the difference when I tried this technique the other day. So, you know how before, well, most of us who have used the pomade would just like scoop out like a big chunk with our brush, slap it on the back of our hand, and then like just go to town and just like make this huge block brow, okay? Apparently, that's not how this product was intended to be used. So, but I've never heard anybody describe exactly how to use it before, other than that you're supposed to make small little hair-like strokes, right? But like, how do I get to that point? Because I'm just dipping my brush in, slapping it on the back of my hand, and then going to town, and I'm still not getting that feathery brow effect, okay? So I was watching Samantha Ravindal because, of course, she's like my favorite. Okay, one of my favorites. Okay, I'm not obsessed. Okay, I kind of am. But anyways, she said that you just go in and just like, boop, tap it in there, okay, get a little bit on your brush, and then wipe off almost all of that product, okay? So there is barely any on my brush. And then you're supposed to go in and make those hair-like strokes. Okay? So again, barely dipping in, okay? Wiping off the extra onto the back of my hand, and then going in and making just like little flicking motions to make those hairs, okay? And then I'm just gonna go into whatever product is on the back of my hand and continue to just really, oop, got too much there. Make those little hairs with my pomade. And you can just go in with your spoolie to kind of like soften it if you use too much. But with this technique where you have barely any product on your brush to begin with, makes it so much easier to not go overboard. And that's the part that I just wasn't understanding before, was how much product did I need on my brush? Because mine would just go on as a big, wet, goopy mess. And now I know. Now I know the error of my ways. So thank you, Sam. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going through and making these little hair-like strokes all throughout my brows, filling in all of the areas that I want and giving them some kind of shape before I go in with the next product. Okay, so now that I have this big fluffy brow going on, I am going to go in with the next product that I've been loving, just because I really like to create a lot of dimension in my brows using different textures and products. So I am going to go in with the Anastasia brow pen. This one is in the shade Taupe. It's just going to give me that dimension that I want. That's going to help give the illusion that this is my real brow instead of something that I've drawn on and plastered to my forehead. So I'm just going to go through and make those little hair-like strokes in all the areas that are just a little bit more sparse. And if things look overly blended, it's because I did go through and brush through the product. So, like I said, I'm still trying to get the hang of this, but I figured we could try it out on camera and learn some things together. The do's and don'ts of fluffy brows, I guess. And I'm just using the very lightest pressure with this, because if you go in and like really press down, it's gonna leave like a big streak, and we don't want that. Okay, and so for a side-by-side comparison, we have like full brow over here and sad brow over here. Okay, so for cleaning up the brow, I'm gonna go in with the Louise Eyeshadow Base, and this is in the shade Rumour 0.5. I'm gonna take a little bit of that on the back of my hand. Okay, and to carve out the brow, I'm just gonna use this little Luxie flat definer brush. And it's just really short and stubby enough for me to have more control over the bristles. So I'm just dipping into that on the back of my hand, both sides of the brush, wiping off the extra. And then going in and carving it out. And now I don't want to lose like the illusion of brow hairs. So I'm not going all the way up in to where I have the brow products applied. I'm kind of going like right below it. So it's like carving out the space right below it just so that it looks cleaner. And just to clean up any stray marks that may have went down too far. And to carve underneath, I use the flat, like the top of the brush. And then to like blend the product down, I flip it to the side and blend it down with the side of the brush. And then I can just blend it out even further with my finger. Isn't she a beauty? Okay, and to carve out the top of my brow, I just go in with a cream foundation. My favorite right now is the KVD Good Apple foundation. And I just, again, just pick it up on my brush, wipe off the extra on the back of my hand. And this is where we're going to really carve out the top of that. Now, if you want to leave it just as is, you absolutely can. So I have that on there, and I'm just, this time I'm using the side of the brush. To really define that. Okay, so again, for a side-by-side comparison, we have our full fluffy brow all carved out and ready to go. And then reality. Reality can be really disappointing sometimes. But thankfully we have makeup. So let me know if this works for you guys. I would love to hear from you in the comments about what you'd like to see next. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.